Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of I Can't Remember Shit, a memory podcast. I'm your host, Evan Barton, and today, me and a lovely guest are attempting a thoughtful descent, a peaceful reminisce, and an honest recollection of our own memories. Every episode, my guest and I discuss one aspect of memory in particular that they don't know about until I tell them right here, right now, on this episode. Some of our favorite memories and our least favorite memories can evade us in the moment and might make us say, I can't remember shit. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of I Can't Remember Shit. I am so excited to welcome my lovely guest today, the musically gifted Devin Conaway. What's up, Devin?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
Evan and Devin on the track.
Evan and Devin. We're on the track.
We're here. I'm so excited. Folks on that have been listening to I Can't Remember Shit all season long, at this point, which has been all year long. They already know a little bit about you.
They do. I don't know if it's been talked about in the podcast.
No, but let's listen to it. Oh, wait.
Are you going to play the whole thing?
No.
Okay.
The whole thing is like 2 minutes long. I was like, I kind of wanted to just play it out over the mic. It plays the beginning of everything.
Yeah.
Let's get to some of your vocals. Oh.
I'm really proud of this.
It's catchy. It's good. It's a good song.
I was scared you're gonna have me perform it live on the podcast.
I know. It's like I should have had you bring all the lyrics.
Right? Yeah, like a like a note sheet.
Yeah, but like for real, that I love the song.
Thank
Can't
you.
Remember Anything by Devin Conaway. We're talking to the artist today.
Yes.
I mean, give us everything. What did it take for you to get that together and all that?
It's kind of crazy. So, I mean, this is kind of how it goes for a lot of my songs. Like, I didn't write that expecting it to be the I Can't Remember Shit podcast theme song.
Yeah.
I started just piddling around on one of my synthesizers. It's called, let's see. It's like a little, it looks like a remote.
Yes.
And it's called the OPZ. And you just like, it's a little beat machine. You just make beats on it. And it's really good at making like goofy sounds.
Kind of like techno-y or like, I
you
don't
could
know,
do
like,
techno.
Okay.
I think the way I use it, I end up with silly rhythms.
Okay.
And there's like a lot of built-in sound effects that are just random noises. So I've made like a lot of drum beats on it and stuff that have weird, unexpected sounds that
Yeah.
I wouldn't think of, but it was on the machine, so it just happened.
Yeah.
And then like a year, I made a beat on that. I recorded it. Didn't think about it for an entire year. And then I was at your house hanging out with Caroline, and I think she was sleeping. So,
She might be doing that right now.
she probably is. And I was bored, so I got on my laptop. I opened up that file, and I started playing with it. And then that's where I got to the intro. I created the intro beat out of the beats that I had recorded previously.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then a year after that, probably, there was like a lot of space in between.
I was like, I know there was 1 year for sure because I had planned on recording some episodes. The episode 2 that with Lucy was recorded in 2023. Everything
That's
else,
crazy.
Yeah, everything else has been recorded within the past like 4 or 5 months or so. But there has been a significant amount of time between me releasing this project and kind of getting the music, and I wanted the music to be there. Yeah. And so I kind of like hounded you a little bit.
You
about
did.
It.
I'm really bad about finishing songs, so I do appreciate you hounding me. Because I mean, and it's still not done, but I got the chorus done, and that's like the most important part for getting it podcast ready. I still want to record verses, and I do eventually want to release it.
You
like,
should.
Fully.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes and 23 seconds long. That's a pop song right there.
That is a pop song.
That's any song that has been released in the past couple of years. That would chart.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's going to chart. Top 10, Billboard.
Absolutely. Well, Devin, I'm really glad you're here. I think we've actually been meaning to do this for a really, really long time. You're obviously like one of my first guests that I wanted to have on since you contributed to the show in like a major way. So I'm really glad you're here and I appreciate it.
I'm excited to be here.
And I'm just a formal thank you for Can't Remember Anything. I do need to like figure out a way to highlight it a little bit more in some ways. I have it in the intro and outro of the show, and you're credited on all of our YouTube videos and stuff.
Crazy.
I know, it's awesome. And then like, I mean, at least in this show notes, for sure, I'll put some of your other EPs and stuff in the show notes, because I really do love that one EP that has is that the Conal Jonald one?
yeah, the Conal Jonald one.
And like your most recent song, and it doesn't feel, it's not recent chronologically or whatever, but like it is recent. I think that made that in my top 100 last year.
That's impressive. That's crazy.
I don't remember what's the name of that called. That song?
I'm humbled.
Do you remember what the name of that song was?
The most recent one?
Yeah.
Right Now.
Right Now is what it was called. Yeah. Yes. I was like, we should play it too.
And that seems like a long time ago. Now that, like, I don't know, things move so fast.
And that's a long song. I mean, you actually like,
that's a really long song.
That's 4 minutes and 32 seconds.
I sent it to my
May 24th, 2024. So it's almost a year old.
Almost a year old. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I sent it to my sibling, and they were like, "Yeah, it's too long. You need to try."
Too long? No, I'm like, I like a long song. Like, honestly,
I do too. I do like a long. I will fight to keep a song long. But if it ends up that way, I'm not gonna force a song to be long. But.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, you're like probably one of my only close connections that I know that like makes original music, and so I love asking you these questions and stuff about this, because it's. Other people are either like DJs, so they're remixing, or like they just like music. Like you're actually like at the base level of music production with like your little at-home studio. I've seen.
I do
like
have a little studio at
you
home.
got you take it seriously, which is I think really cool.
Yeah, I do have mad respect for DJs. Like I don't know how they do it. I'm really bad at doing stuff like on the spot, and I think that like. I don't know, that it's kind of just like a performance thing. Like I don't think I'm not well practiced with performance, but if I have time to just sit and, you know, re-record things and polish things up, and I think like a lot of the fun that I find that I have during music production is like the actual production of it.
Yeah.
So, and usually, I mean, I don't write a song beforehand and go into the studio and try to produce it. I just like write in the studio.
Yeah.
And
no, that what I enjoy. That makes total sense. I think that I'm like, as someone that has had the recent experience of like performance, I find that I am starting to shy away from it more. This isn't performance to me. This is like genuine conversation, and like I'm able to pull on anything that comes to mind and all that stuff, which is where I have a little bit more freedom. But when it's, and I guess freedom and things that I'm comfortable in, when it's like a dance performance or like a lip sync, like I feel like you have to freaking be so prepared, and that's tough for me. I'm not always that prepared.
It's like you have to balance. Like you can prepare as much as you want, but like when you get up on stage, like, are you going to remember things?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to remember your lines? Are you going to remember the notes? For me, like when I was in a band, it was just remembering what chords I was going to play, because I was the keyboardist.
Oh my God, you were in a band?
I was in a band. It was with some high school friends, and we played a lot of live shows. So I did get kind of used to like performing live, but I wasn't front and center. I was kind of in the back. So that made it easier, and
Interesting. Well, honestly, what you talking about high school kind of segues us into our first segment, where we essentially will go down memory lane for each other, and I want you and I will both share our first memories of each other.
Incredible.
And this is gonna be like tough for me, because it's actually like I've known you
for
a long time. I've known you for a long time now that I think about it. And I'll give you the time and the space to remember, but I think
I do remember.
Okay, well, you get to go first, which is perfect.
Because you know why I remember? Because I was thinking about it when I was listening to this podcast like a couple weeks ago.
Perfect.
So now I'm remembering what I concluded. I think it was when you and Caroline were living at your older house. And I think it might have been the first time I went over there. And
here in Tulsa?
In Tulsa, yeah. And I don't know, I can't remember how much we interacted, but you might have given me a cigarette.
That sounds about right.
It was like the first time I ever had a menthol cigarette.
Yeah,
where you squished the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't even know.
Did I tell you that you can, not chew it, but crush it with your teeth?
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think you did.
I
just squished it with my
so
finger.
many people that, and they were like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, I think that's like the whole point.
That would make sense. Yeah.
That you crush it with your teeth.
There should be like some, instructions, on the box.
Because they're not going to be instructions because they don't want you to do it because
they don't want to
technically bad for you.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess. Not allowed to give you instructions. Tobacco, what does this world come to?
Yeah, literally. Big Tobacco is very anti first time cigarette. Well, yeah, anti menthols. But okay, so you came over to the house. Do you remember what function the house was? Because we lived there from 21 to 22, August or so. It could have been birthday.
It definitely wasn't birthday.
What's crazy is this house coincides with the ghosting.
The ghosting?
You know the ghosting.
I do. Do I?
Caroline and Rain's ghosting.
Oh, yes, I do. Okay, yes. Caroline and Rain's ghosting. Did we talk about this on the podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. We need to have like a group. You need to interview them both.
Well, Caroline's already been on, but like Caroline and Rain's lore has never been a topic of conversation. But this just like it coincides with this timeline that you just proposed of like you being at my house at some time. And so I think the ghosting ended
a few months after,
like May or it was like I don't know because you didn't hang out with Caroline separate from Rain, right?
No, I did. So like when there was the ghosting,
You're so nervous talking about this.
But I was hanging out with Caroline, and I mean that kind of Caroline was able to
process
that with that like interpersonal relationship.
Yes.
Through me. And
it's coming back to me.
I was the delivery boy for the letter. You
fixed them.
Rekindled friendship. I did, low key.
Something they would never give you credit for.
I don't know if I fixed them. I was just kind of there, but maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit.
Yeah, I mean, you were an ear to listen and a mouth to tell. Like, what kind of was going on?
I did maintain my friendships with both of them,
and to this day, I mean, you live with Rain and Zach. Not to dox you or anything, but you live with your friends.
Everybody knows where Rain and Zach live. So.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. So I am feeling like my first memory of you actually is like when you were in high school, because I could have sworn that you had been at my house at Rutherford, my dad's house. Did you ever go to my dad's house?
Definitely. In Muskogee?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Oh, okay. I was there. I don't remember you from there though.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I thought I made an impression, but you were there for Caroline and anyone Caroline was associated with, not necessarily me. And especially in high school for Caroline, especially like just in kind of the age that she was, I didn't feel like she really wanted much to do with me. And so I wasn't always like introduced to her friends or whatever. And we're just different people. And but I remember knowing who all came over to the house or whatever, and I think that you and CJ both came over to the house at some point.
I believe that. Yeah, I was there with CJ at one point,
and like playing
maybe multiple
games, or I don't know if you got. Caroline wasn't the person that like invited boys over to come like swimming at the house, which is like such a missed opportunity because we had a pool. Like, what was
I only swam in that pool one time, and it was at nighttime. And I think it was after y'all had moved out. It was just like an event that you're like, hey, we're gonna swim.
I was like, maybe
dad's house.
I was like, maybe a 4th of July, but like, actually, I've been to your parents' house at their pool for a 4th of July.
Yeah, y'all have been to my pool more often than I've been to y'all.
Yeah. Sure. That's interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, my memories of you at that time they were formative because I don't think you haven't changed, like, I don't mean this derogatory. You haven't changed much in terms of, like, your high school you and your, like, young adult you.
I mean, I think on the inside I feel very different, but I could see like how my personality and stuff would carry over.
Your presentation has remained a little consistent. Yeah. You do change, which I love. You swap between really, really long emo hair sometimes and then this preppy boy
I got
hair.
like 2 days ago.
It looks great.
Yeah,
you have like insane hair growth.
It does.
I've noticed.
It's really thick too, so it's heavy and it's so hard to maintain. I need to. Rain was telling me about like some like class that I can take in town where they teach you how to like maintain your curly hair,
your own curly hair,
and then they give you a haircut that like fits your hairstyle. Yeah, my hair is crazy.
I mean, my hair is crazy. Point blank. Period. But yeah, I think that my early memories of Devin all were essentially filtered through Caroline, which I love her, and we aren't here to talk shit about her, but she is. She is sometimes not a reliable source on people.
Right. That's fair. That's a fair assumption.
And so once I like got to know you in our own independent relationship, which was, I'm not going to lie, probably me, butting into whatever hangouts happening at my house.
For sure.
That involves my sister and her friends.
Well, sometimes we need a fourth player. Or
exactly.
A fifth player in Catan.
So. Or you needed a cigarette when you
were. Exactly. That's really what it was. You were the cigarette supply. And then I would buy cigarettes and feel bad about it. And I would give you the package.
Give them to me. Give them over to me. Yeah, that's so silly. But I think our relationship has definitely expanded and grown. Not only have we like worked together on like a little project of this and stuff, but like you've been over at my house. I think I helped you guys move and do all that stuff, and so you're now a little Tulsan, which is awesome.
It is awesome.
What do you think about Tulsa?
I like Tulsa. There's like always something new going on.
Yeah.
And not to say that I'm taking advantage of all these new opportunities, because a lot of time I'm just like, sitting watching TV or something.
It's okay.
But the opportunity or the possibilities excite me.
That's exciting.
Maybe one day I'll go to one of these like downtown events.
Yes, you should. And I like to always. I mean, I want you to know that if you ever want to go with anybody, I'm always a good plus one. And the only thing that's annoying about going out with me sometimes is like, and this is gonna sound vain, but I do know a lot of people.
You know everybody. No, I've known this. It's very obvious. Like, it's funny how everybody else acts too. It's like we're in a group and you're there, and then like you'll suddenly disappear, and you'll be talking to somebody, and everybody's like rolling their eyes.
Literally, everybody
goes. I don't know why he asked us to come here.
Evan just knows everyone. He's and Caroline and Lucy and Rain. I feel like all have like the same reaction every time that I see someone I know, and like they're frustrated.
I'll say it's just about everybody that has the same reaction.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think it's like serious though. I think they're just like, here he goes.
Here he goes, social butterfly. Which I'm not. I don't know. I'm not less. I guess I am. I'm not going to deny my own characteristics or whatever, but I like being connected to people. I like to know that there's an opportunity that you could do, and because I know you and I know this person, like that is actually like that's in some ways a love language of mine.
Yeah, I am jealous. I do wish I knew I think like in college I knew a lot of people, and in high school I definitely knew a lot of people.
Yeah,
but now that I'm in Tulsa,
the world's big.
The world is super big.
Yeah.
And my circle has it's still big, but I have like lots of small circles, and they're scattered around everywhere now, and they're not like, I don't know everybody all in one place.
Yeah. But. Well, I was going to say something that you and I have in common is I think that you and I both have those smaller circles that we in some ways like check in on from time to time.
Yeah.
So like you have your friends from NSU and from college, and like you bring them up every now and then, and it's like, oh, I'm glad to know that like you still keep up with those people. But I know like primarily your circle is like what's the closest to you, but you still have these relationships in other different parts of the world and town and all that stuff. So, and that's hard. I don't know. I'm just thinking about the snow we just had this past week.
Yeah.
There was a couple of times where I was like stuck in my house because of the snow and everything, and it reminded me a lot of COVID.
Yeah.
And then we were having like FaceTimes where me and Naomi were participating in a FaceTime that in the same house with other people, but we were on the same FaceTime, and so it was like low key triggering.
No, yeah, it's like it brings it back. Like, oh God, we're back.
We're so back to
we're so back, and it's not good.
Yeah, well, and this is like how we have to manage or maintain our connections, and like I'm glad we have technology because like the ability to have a face-to-face conversation with someone on FaceTime is something that we shouldn't take for granted.
Oh, for sure.
But it is like I just have realized how much I've invested in my like interpersonal, which really means like in-person relationships. Like I develop my relationships with the people that are here because they're here and I can see them, and that it's not that I don't love my people that aren't here. It's just way more difficult to maintain that connection. We don't have the frequency of interaction. We have the fleeting thoughts about each other, you know?
Right. Yeah, you don't stumble upon and like run into your friend who lives like 100 miles away.
Yeah.
At Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
Or wherever downtown, and or at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So like you just like stumble into hangouts basically when you know people in person.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to, speaking of technology, I do kind of want to dive into our topic for the day.
Okay.
Do you have any guesses on what we're going to be talking about today?
So like my immediate guess is it's about music, but then I'm like, well, that's too obvious. It's going to be something like less direct. And also there's a K-pop episode already, so kind of counts.
Yeah, but like that, the whole reason I did K-pop was it was a specific genre.
Right. Well, maybe you'll do a specific genre like reggae.
Oh yeah, I know you know so much about reggae.
I know so much about reggae.
No, you don't know anything about reggae. I don't either, so that's why we're not talking about it. It's
Perfect.
Not reggae. I did think about music, but I was thinking the angle of like music production, and I was like, well, I'm not really gonna have that much to like add to that,
right?
Because I don't necessarily have those experiences. So I did opt for something else, and so now we are going to dive into our memory banks together. We're going to dust off our memory cabinets. We're going to start up our hippocampuses, which if you didn't know, that's where memories are stored.
It's like in the front.
And we're going to reminisce into our topic today. And I'm excited for our topic. It is video games.
Yes. I love video games. I don't know why I didn't guess that like as a second guess.
I know. I was like waiting for you to say video games.
Maybe like computers and shit. But video games.
Video games is going to be like, I think you and I probably had, just from what I know about your catalog of video games and your experiences, like we actually have like so many overlapping video game experiences.
I don't know if we've talked like extensively about like video games to each other outside of like what you're playing immediately, like just on the screen. Like
yes,
like you talked about Mortal Kombat, but you were playing Mortal Kombat when you talked about that.
Well, and you saw me play not Breath of the Wild. We talked a lot about playing.
We did
Tears of the Kingdom this past summer when we were on our bowling league together.
That would have been a good topic too. Bowling
would have been fun. Bowling would be crazy. I gotta have Lucy back to talk about bowling. She has.
We should get the whole bowling league together.
That would be so. I'm like, I want to do it again this summer. I really
think
do.
That'd be fun.
It was super fun. But we're going to talk about video games, and yeah, we get to talk about our favorite and our least favorite memories related to video games, which is a big, broad, wide world. So I have a feeling that I'm going to like revisit this topic with maybe some more specificity.
Yeah.
But I do think that this is a good entry point for our conversation to kind of like expound upon. And so, yeah, whenever you are ready to dive into your favorite video game memory, hit us with it.
We're doing favorites first.
Favorites first and then least favorites.
Jesus. That's a big request.
It is. Take your time.
I think I know what I want to say.
Okay, give it to us.
And there's like so many different memories related to this game in particular. And it's going to sound really... I bet a lot of people are going to relate, I would assume.
Who can relate?
Who can relate? But Minecraft had an insanely huge impact on my life.
Oh, gosh.
Like, so big.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew, like, how many hours total I've played, like on all of the different versions.
And that's like across platforms and all that.
Because I've probably bought Minecraft like 15, 16 times at this point. But my favorite, like, I think my favorite time, like, that relates to video games was when I would go to my grandma's house, my grandma and grandpa's house, over the weekend. Me and my sibling would consistently do that every weekend.
Yeah.
And they lived like 30 minutes away and in a small town. There wasn't a lot of things to do. And I also associate that time with like the feeling that I like, just the feeling of being a kid.
Yeah.
And not having all of these crazy thoughts about, work and responsibilities like taxes. Like I wasn't thinking about taxes at all.
And I know you are now.
Oh, I am. I haven't done it yet. I looked at my whiteboard today and was like, I need to mark that off.
I haven't done my taxes either. The clock's ticking.
The clock is ticking. But like I was just okay with being bored or just chilling.
Absolutely.
And I would just make things out of construction paper. And Minecraft was just me making stuff on my Xbox.
Yeah.
So I remember there's this world that me and my sibling created, and my cousin would join in sometimes too. We'd play like split screen. And I made like this big castle, and it was like one of the super flat worlds, so you could just build whatever you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like so many crazy things that we had going in there. It was like basically like a little city. And every time I think about that, I'm just like, damn, I was so happy back then. Like life was so simple.
Absolutely. Well, it's like, and Minecraft is like a simple game.
It's very simple, but it can be complicated if you want it to be, but it's also just dead simple. You're just like building things.
It's like Legos, but in a game.
Yeah.
In some ways, where like you do have to have like certain pieces to make certain things work, but also like your creativity is the limit for most things.
There's like a lot of pieces are just like aesthetic, like there's stone or wood or whatever, and you can build something to just be what it is. Like I'm gonna build a house, and it's a house. Or you could be like kind of mechanical with it and make a redstone thing, or like an automatic door. And then there's people that like make computers and shit, like
literally
with redstone stuff, and I'm like, that's insane. Like,
they make a computerception because you're playing a computer in a computer.
I watched a video where some dude made a Game Boy emulator
in Minecraft.
In Minecraft, and it would play Pokemon, I think. But it was like one frame every like hour or something. But it was still playing the game, like it was rendering it.
That's insane.
Crazy.
So for you, Minecraft and your favorite memory, and Minecraft is the game. The time is being at grandma and grandpa's house with sibling, with cousin, and experiencing kind of that like joy, simpleness, and really just kind of the childlike innocence that you had at the time.
Yeah, I was like genuinely at peace.
Yeah.
Like I had no problems. No, like I was just there to play games, and like I sit down to play games now. Like Minecraft is such a different game as an adult. Like it's obviously changed, but my mind immediately goes to I need to do this thing as fast as I need to get a diamond sword as fast as possible. I need to get a diamond pickaxe, and maybe it's OCD or something. But like I'm just like I have to do it.
Well, like,
everything as efficiently as possible.
You know the things that you would need to make the best thing that you want to make right now or whatever. Because like we've tried to play Minecraft before. Me, and I think
we got
Caroline.
pretty far.
We did some stuff, and Minecraft missed me. And I have bought it multiple times. There's just something about that game that I think is either too expansive or like I didn't grow up in the same way with that game as you did. Yeah. So I never found comfort in that game.
Interesting.
And so as an adult, trying to find the shortcuts or the learning curve being too steep for me was like making it not as enjoyable of an experience as like everyone else. But
so you didn't start playing until we played? That's crazy.
And that's the honest to God truth. Like
I bet
I'm not
what
even
happened,
capping.
Like it's hard to get into a game like that, I think, like when I was a kid, I literally started from scratch.
Yeah.
I wasn't even allowed on YouTube when I got Minecraft originally. So I thought anything was possible. I was just like out there dicking around trying to figure things out. But like when you
and you were like at that point, like all the players were like essentially adding to the community because of like the things that you did with friends at that time.
Right.
Maybe someone went and posted online, and so then maybe more and more people did that thing, which is crazy. Games have that sort of like community element to them in some ways now, but like I think it was so new at the time, and now those kids that did that are adults, and so you don't really have the same. Like,
it's not magical.
It's
You're
not as
learning.
magical. Yeah.
The process is what made it magical, I think.
Yeah.
Like now there's an established like method of how to do, like if you want a portal, you go and do this, and there's like a million ways you can do it, but this is the fastest way.
Yeah.
Or if you're wanting to find diamonds or whatever, you have to like pour water down and swim, and then
it sounds crazy.
Like it's like it makes the game low key boring when you just like do those things, because it's just not as...
because you're living life in a pixelated world and it's basic, but like it is alive.
And then now you have like this process that's like the best practice for how to do all of these things.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
And you hate an SOP. I don't know if that's what you make or not, but your job.
An SOP. Okay, so what does SOP stand for?
Standard operating procedure.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have an SOP, but I'm not a big fan of an SOP.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice, like when you're, when
as
you
a
need
programmer, I was like, it's helpful maybe to start somewhere, but
it's hard to. I don't know. I whenever I have issues with programming, I just look at other people's code and see what they did, but it never like is 1-to-1 to what I'm doing. So you have to adapt. And stuff.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I forgot low-key. I don't know. I forgot that you helped with the Pod for Good Media website.
I did.
I was like, oh my God, there's something else that I'm forgetting I asked you for help on, and it was that. So.
I kind of forgot about that.
I asked you for a lot of help on that because I was struggling.
I don't design websites like with an app. I forgot what app it was. Webflow. But I guess organizing would be a priority.
Yes.
If I were to like when you add elements in and it just kind of throws it in whatever folder, and then you kind of just forget, things aren't named right, and it gets a mess with
classes
any sort of
and all that.
It's a mess with any sort of software development stuff, and with that it took a minute, but we figured it out. We got everything organized.
But I think it's interesting. I wonder if there's some connection between like your coding sensibilities and like Minecraft, because can't you do some sort of code or whatever in Minecraft? Or like Minecraft runs on JavaScript, or it runs on Java, not JavaScript.
Not Java. They're different. Java and JavaScript.
I do know they're two different languages, but it can also run on it's confusing. That's how you buy it so many times, is because there's all these different versions of it or whatever.
There's so many different versions. I mean, I've never messed around with like the Minecraft like modding tools or whatever. And I know the Bedrock version, I guess, makes it a lot easier for people to make mods and stuff. But again, I've never even touched it, which is crazy because it seems like it'd be right up my alley. I probably should.
But it could potentially take away something from the game experience, or like adding in that like the programming piece might make it not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I could just cheat and make an infinite diamond block.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
Which again might not be that fun.
No, that wouldn't be fun at all.
It would be game breaking in some ways.
If I were to make a mod, I'd probably add like some crazy like animals or some shit, like a worm
or some like big boobs.
Yeah, big boobs. I don't think they'd allow that on the store.
I need the big boob mod.
Minecraft boob mod. I bet that's a thing.
I bet it is.
It definitely is.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, I'm going to tell you my favorite memory.
Okay.
Relating to video games. And this one's a fun one, and because it kind of like takes me back to a lot of what you just said too in some ways. So back in, I gotta remember these years, but it has to have been like when I was 11. So I was 11 in 2008. 8, which is crazy.
Evan was 11.
Evan was 11 in 2007. But yeah, in like 2007 or 8, we definitely had this. So this sounds about right. But Halo 3
Halo 3
was the tea. And so we had gotten at my dad's house. That's a whole another thing about this is like video games were I had my portable video games that I could play at my either house, but I also had like each house, divorced parents, y'all might know this. I had one console at my mom's and one console at my dad's.
Yep.
And at my dad's, we always had Xbox, and at my mom's, I ended up always having PlayStation. So
that's the way to go. Like you got best of both worlds.
It was wild to like. I didn't always have like the console equivalent at the time. Like I don't think I had. At some point, Xbox 360 and PS2 were equivalent, but then PS3 was backwards.
I think there's like
I was like Xbox and PS2 maybe were equivalents as well. There's like an overlapping generation between Microsoft
there were
and Sony.
There was a lot of games that were like cross-platform between like, or not cross-platform, but like were released on both systems because there was like a transitional period into the new generation.
But we're talking about Halo, which is a Bungie game, which means it's only Microsoft.
Yes.
So you could not have this. I could not have this experience out at my mom's house, which is sad. But we were playing, and what was so fun about playing Halo was that my whole family got involved. Like,
that's crazy.
Literally,
so all played like split
Steve
screen?
and Stephanie and Caroline at age 8, Ethan and I were all playing Halo online multiplayer.
That's
at one
insane.
point. And like it would, I don't remember at that point. Like I don't remember how much time was passing. We were playing for as long as we freaking wanted to. Yeah. But we found a game that like we all enjoyed, and I think we could all play 4-player split screen.
Yeah, if you're
online,
were y'all like on a team, like 4v4.
Yeah,
like, that would have been incredible.
That was awesome. We were doing that shit, which was so fun. And then I think like a secondary memory to this, kind of like family video games, like being a thing for my family in particular, was Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
Oh God. Guitar Hero, that might be another. I have so many good memories with Guitar Hero.
It's so good. I'm like, that should be its own episode. But but what a freaking like time capsule memory, because like I don't think that any kids within the past like 10 years, I don't know, that they fell off hard, those games did.
Yeah,
because of the accessories and the hardware being like
there was like
junk.
There was like a new I watched a YouTube video on it at one point, and there was like 1 year that there was, I might be wrong about this, but I think it was like 7 Guitar Hero games coming out in 1 year.
Oh my God.
Like,
well, and like 1 and 2 were bundled at some point, and then 3 became like a really big one. That one's Legends of Rock. That's the one I played the most. I started on that one as well. And went back to 1 and 2 because like once you got hooked, you're like, I gotta play all these songs. I gotta see if I can do it on hard.
I actually never went back to the older ones. I bought every single one, or well, my parents did. Mm-hmm. I didn't have money or an income, but
I was like, thank you, parents, for all these video games that we're talking about.
Literally, this one goes out to mom and dad. It helped because they were into Guitar Hero too. So
they either liked watching you play it or like they probably liked the songs. I mean, that's the whole thing. It was like the music,
but dad rock, so
music of their
it.
Generation. That is what's actually like really cool about the game. I think there was an unintended like cultural effect.
Yeah, the soundtrack was perfect. Like they couldn't have gotten it any better.
Well, and I think what was fun about Rock Band in particular was that it introduced the band concept to the gameplay, where like everyone could play, and like you put your person that doesn't want to click any buttons or hit anything as the singer.
Yep. There's always somebody that wants to sing or do karaoke.
Absolutely. And I was like, that like introduced the concept of karaoke into the home in some ways. Maybe that's a crazy thing to say, but like in video game form.
I know for sure we didn't have a karaoke machine or anything. That was like the
either.
Closest thing to karaoke we've ever done.
That's a cultural thing. Like there are some places that like karaoke is a mainstay, but like, and as far as like American like suburban culture, I think like Rock Band is to thank for karaoke.
For sure.
But
low key revived it.
Literally. And so I don't know. I think that those are gonna be my favorite memories, because like to this day, I remember the joy on my dad's like face and like in his voice about whenever he would rocket launch a motherfucker off the map on Halo, and like he would get really pissed. Like, but he loved a rocket launcher and a sniper rifle, which is hilarious. Like my dad at that time was probably like in his 40s, playing games with his kids, and like that was really sweet, and we loved doing that. Little baby Caroline, like, will get in there with the rocket launcher and can still fuck someone up.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
that was crazy. Ethan and I thought we were good, and then we would get our asses kicked by the other team, and then someone would yell the F slur on there. People were crazy on the voice channel. Like, we would have to block people all the time. It would, like, especially Halo players. Like,
that's crazy.
I felt like that was when, like, people would send you, like, messages, a bunch, and it would pop up on the screen, and it would say, it or something like that. I'm like, oh my God, this is wild.
I not notoriously, only like 3 people know about this. But
now the world.
I turned off voice chat. I was terrified of like talking to people online because I would have been what they would have considered a squeaker.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't hit puberty yet.
Yes.
And I didn't even know what to say. Like what am I gonna do? Because I'm not strategic. I'm just there to shoot people on Halo.
And you're not there to talk shit.
No, like I'm too scared to talk shit.
Exactly.
With all these people that are like 5 or 6 years older than me, probably, than some adults too.
Yeah.
Like, hell no.
Well, and they'd say something that's scary, like "I'll kill you" or "I'll kill your family" or whatever. Like, I don't know. People were so extremist, and like the internet was so new at the time. I didn't feel like anybody had. There was no couth. We've lost the couth in this country.
I don't know if online games have gotten any better.
Well, I mean, like, worse. I was gonna say, I've been playing a shit ton of Marvel Rivals, and it is bringing me back to that Halo feeling where like we're playing with friends, we're playing a game that we all like, and it is only us in the chat. Like, we're on a Discord call, we can't hear other people, and we always blame the one person that's the 1 or 2 people that aren't in the Discord as like the weakest player or whatever. Like, why are they AFK right now? Why are they not?
Why are they AFK? I've said that so many times.
It's so funny. But I love playing Marvel Rivals, and it like actually takes me back to that. So that's kind of what has been at the top of my mind relating to video games, because actually I have been playing a lot of video games, and it has been like with people in the same way that I was playing like with my family. We're talking about, this hurts to say, 15 years ago. Crazy. Oh my God. All right, Devin, we are going to segue into our least favorite memories relating to video games, if you can muster it. It's
I should have been thinking about this.
That's okay. It's tough. You know how you said the hippocampus is like in the front of your brain or whatever.
Yeah, I hope I'm not wrong. That would be really silly.
Well, regardless, if you go left, you fall down into the memory dump, and that's where we are when we're thinking about our least favorite memories. So, what's coming to mind for you when you think about your least favorite video game related memories?
So there's like so many things that pop up immediately, like when a sibling deletes your save history. I had this SpongeBob game where I would like
Battle for Bikini Bottom.
No, it wasn't Battle for Bikini. It was on the DS, and it was like a cooking game.
Oh, okay.
And it was similar. It's like Papa's Pizzeria.
Yes.
But you're making burgers, you're making Krabby Patties and fries and stuff. And I would get so far, and like without fail, like Finn would delete my my saves.
Yeah, anytime your sibling touched your device,
somehow
something would get deleted.
They would get deleted, and Finn would be like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I know that they did. Like, they had to have.
Trolling you.
Literally trolling you.
Actually trolling you.
I don't think it's the video game's fault, but it ties pretty closely with gaming. So I'm not going to pretend like I had this was the most difficult thing that ever happened to me, because it's not. It was relatively short-lived, because it was only like 4 or 5 months total. But my parents got divorced very briefly. And
I like just recently learned this lore. I did not know that.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
So like, all of my friends, I think at the time, had divorced parents, and
maybe same here.
like everybody's got divorced parents.
Yeah.
So it was very normal in my mind. Like it wasn't like devastating immediately.
Yeah. You just didn't think it happened to you.
Right. And it was shocking. And I didn't process it like emotionally at all. Like for probably like a month or something. Like it didn't hit me until it was like happening. And my dad moved in with his mom, my grandma, in her trailer. Not a trailer. I guess it's like an RV, but it's a trailer.
Mobile home.
Mobile home.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a full mobile home.
It's not a camper.
It's a camper. It's a camper. That's what
it's a camper.
And don't get me wrong, it's a nice camper. But
Did it have a rug that said "Home Sweet Home" on it?
I don't remember, but it probably did. But I bet money on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would bet money on it. It probably came with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess like, yeah, it was just weird. I didn't think a lot about it at the time, and then it happened, and then now my parents are living in different places, and like there was like words exchanged, about the other parent
in front of you as the
in
child.
front of me.
Yeah.
And it was just like, shit. This is rough. This is bad. And then also now I don't have like a singular place I'm staying. I'm spending 3 days here and 3 days there.
Yeah.
And luckily I did, like, there wasn't any custody battle or anything. It was just like, we're going to split your time up evenly.
Yeah.
3 days here, 3 days there. And it'll all work out. Once Dad gets a house, it'll be fine. It'll be all good to go.
Yes.
But at the time, I got a shit ton of sympathy gifts. And you better believe I got hooked up with some video game stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, the Wii U was
one of your sympathy gifts.
One of my sympathy gifts. Very unpopular system, but it is. And this is kind of weird because like we're talking about my least favorite video game memory, but the Wii U still is like one of my favorite systems.
It's one of your favorite consoles, yeah.
Because it just had so many games that I fell in love with at that time. It was just
name a couple, because I miss the Wii U.
The Wii U was awesome. So I can't go any further without mentioning Mario Kart 8.
Okay.
Which is still probably one of my favorite video games of all time.
Okay.
Me and my dad played the shit out of Mario Kart 8. And Mario Kart, it's kind of crazy like how Mario Kart just has this ability for like anybody in the family to play. Like my grandpa.
Yes.
Who passed away like 13 or 14 years ago, probably longer.
Mm-hmm.
He would play Mario Kart Wii with me.
Oh, that's fine.
And that was like the only video game he would
That's
play.
the one with you put the Wii remote in the like steering wheel, right?
Right. I think that's why I liked it,
Yeah.
because you could like turn it physically. But yeah, me and my dad got really into Mario Kart 8, and I of course got super good at it. Still, I'm gonna brag. I'm still a god to this day. I cannot be defeated. But I wouldn't be where I'm at today with Mario Kart without this trauma. So.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. You needed that trauma.
For sure.
Trauma.
And then Mario Kart 8 was big. Pikmin 3.
Pikmin. I was like, I
was
knew that
another
one.
That one was just incredible. I had never played any of the older Pikmin games, and I don't even know if I knew what it was when I bought it. I was just like, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
This cover looks
I
cool.
played it on the GameCube.
I had a GameCube. Like, that was my first system, and I wish I had. I don't know if I would have liked the controls though.
Yeah.
Like the controller. I've tried to play it with a controller. I don't know if I can.
You liked playing with the basically the iPad.
I played with the tablet controller, and I used the stylus to shoot things because it was just
crazy.
so easy.
The stylus controller is wild, or not stylus controller. The freaking tablet controller.
What do they call it?
I think it is like a tablet.
It is a tablet for sure.
It's wild.
It's like the Switch, but the controllers are stuck to the side. You can't take them off, and there's no system inside. It's just
there's
a
a screen. Yeah, it's like a screen.
It's just a screen.
It's wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was a big fan of using the stylus to play Pikmin.
Yeah. So least favorite memory is the process of having to play all these video games and intermixed with the divorce trauma.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, maybe this is a bad example of a bad memory, but like, because the video games were a good memory. It was like the good. Honestly,
they're the silver lining in this.
It is the only good thing I can remember about that time.
Yeah,
because
that makes total sense.
That's just where I spent my energy. I don't really remember anything from school.
Yeah.
I don't.
Because you were in high school.
I was in middle school.
Middle school. Okay.
I was going in the 8th grade. It started in the summer between 7th and 8th grade, and then it resolved by the end of 8th grade, I think.
Yeah.
But maybe even before that year, like before the winter.
Yeah.
But, the video games were a good memory, but yeah.
I'm glad that there was something.
There was something. I genuinely can't think of a video game related memory that like is bad.
Is bad. I mean, yeah, at some point like it kind of shakes out to being like, if the game's bad, I'm not gonna play it. Like I'm gonna put it down. And I think that's kind of where my brain is like struggling to remember one too, because I'm like, I don't play games that I think are bad, or I wouldn't play. Like most of the time, like video games have like a lot of hype built up to them, to where like I am so geeked to play a game, and like there's never really been like a huge letdown video game for me, I don't think, except for like I can't even think of one. Like there really isn't. All my games that I liked and I loved them.
Yeah, I was in the Call of Duty when Call of Duty Ghosts came out.
Yes,
and that was a big letdown for everybody else except for me. I loved it
because it had zombies on it, right?
It had aliens.
Aliens, okay.
And nobody liked the alien mode, but I liked the alien mode. So
yeah.
I was honestly, damn, I need to go get my Xbox from my parents' house because that feels awesome. That would be awesome to play.
Yeah, I think my least favorite memory relating to video games is probably gonna be, and this is funny because I've kind of told the story a little bit before, but speaking of like hyped video games, Mortal Kombat was like it was a franchise of video games that I loved. Like I got in early. I ended up playing, this is so ironic in so many ways, honestly. I played a lot of Mortal Kombat at like my very religious cousin's house in Stillwell, Oklahoma. Like
which Mortal Kombat?
Like we were playing Shaolin Monks, we were playing Deception, and we were playing Armageddon. Okay. So these are like these are all PS2, Xbox games.
So there's blood and gore. I was like,
lots of blood and gore.
Is it like Mortal Kombat 2 where the Super Nintendo version didn't have blood in it?
Yeah, no, it's not. No, like honestly, the PS2 versions of the game like had really crazy fatalities. Armageddon had like the build your own fatalities, so it was a little bit like tamer. Like you just you press one button and it chops the head, it punches the head off, and then you can do other things to the bodies or whatever. But Deception and Shaolin Monks had like fully like scripted fatality scenes that were like intense. And so all of that was when I was introduced to it. And then they were finally bringing Mortal Kombat 9 to like the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Like I was so hyped for those games. And like to the point where I had downloaded the what's the name of that thing called? The demo.
The demo.
I downloaded the demo and I had like played the shit out of the demo and like really, really loved it.
What was included in the demo?
4 characters. Melina, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and there was one other playable character. I can't remember who it was I want to say it wasn't Sonya. But yeah, like 3 main playable characters.
Right.
And like you could see all their fatalities or whatever. And then that roster ended up becoming like 33 different playable characters, which is crazy. But yeah, it was like one of my favorite games. And this is going to be my least favorite memory because like I felt like my mom and I got into more arguments over like whether or not I was allowed to play that game at age 12 than anything else. This was just like,
that is the worst.
It was horrible timing for like our lore because like my brother had just moved out and my mom was like trying to figure out how to single parent me before she ended up getting remarried like the year post that.
Right.
And so I was like causing this big stink about this game that I wanted to play and that my dad would allow me to play, like kind of always playing that card that would just piss her off. And
I bet that calmed everybody down.
Oh, it was great. I was very explosive at the time too, because, and it was funny because what I ultimately ended up doing was showing her the trailer of the game and trying to let her make the decision.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, you are not playing this game at my house. You can go to your dad's if you want to go play that game. And I was like, okay, I guess I am.
Yeah, I have no choice now.
And I was a little shit, and I probably did like rub it in, like, yeah, I am gonna go to my dad's because he'll let me, and like all this stuff. And I hate that a video game in some ways like caused that not trauma. It could just cause that rift in our relationship because like one, I didn't want to disrespect my mom. But like I kind of did, and
at the time, definitely.
At the time, I was absolutely disrespecting her.
Yeah,
and this was all wrapped up in my little gay feelings, and like
there's just lots of emotional context.
Just a tough time, and all I wanted to do was do some fatalities. And I guess at some point, I think I understood why. Like the game was rated M. Rated M games are for people that are older than 17, and I'm 13. Like it genuinely didn't make sense. Yeah. But I wanted to be cool, and I wanted to be that kid that had Mortal Kombat on his PlayStation.
Oh, for sure.
And my mom was like, no. So I don't know. I find that story interesting, and I brought it up because Carolyn and I ended up playing Mortal Kombat a bunch at my dad's house, and it ended up being like this positive memory for her and I. But it ended up being on the other side of it is this kind of like, well, I really kind of disrespected my mom, which sucks.
Yeah, that feels bad. I know I don't know if I like made a huge stink about anything like that, but like my parents were pretty strict about the
ESRB rating. Yeah, absolutely. Well, at some point there ended up being so much content that parents couldn't monitor, but video games, absolutely. My mom was the one spending that money. On those video games.
Yes, and I mean, the GameStop, they started like asking the parent too, like if you were there, if the parent was there with their kid who was obviously not 17, they'd be like, this game is rated M for blah blah blah, blood, blah blah blah, nudity, sexual content, and then you don't know how many times like I've seen. Like, I've been in line when a parent has read that spiel. And they're like, oh, no, you should pick out a different game.
Yeah, no, Johnny.
Right. I was smart enough. I was never going to try that with my parents, sneak it by.
Yeah.
Because my parents would just look at the rating and see it. But
no, absolutely.
I know they would not let me play GTA 5 until I was 17. I went and bought it myself. That was the only game that they just, like, never gave way on, but... I convinced the first M-rated game them to let me get was Halo 4.
Oh, there you go.
Because there was
Halo is one of those games I'm like, it didn't feel like it was very... I feel like the content is adult, but like the gameplay isn't like... I don't know.
You're shooting aliens.
You're shooting aliens, and the aliens are bleeding, but like you're not murdering other humans for the most part.
Unless you're playing multiplayer, but like it's like kind of cartoony.
Yeah,
like,
you come back.
Right,
like
you're
immediately respawning.
It's like I don't think it's like that realistic. You know? Like,
I mean,
there's
now
like blood splatter, but like you're not seeing anybody's bones.
Yeah,
or anything,
exactly. Well, I'm like in Marvel Rivals now. Like literally, superheroes are killing each other in the context of the game, but there's no blood, of course, but it is like you're eliminating each other. Yeah.
But I mean that I was able to convince them because there was no bad words in it and there was no nudity in it. So then I was like, Cortana. Now, when Cortana came up on the screen, I had to like turn off the TV for a second to let that cutscene pass because Cortana in Halo 4.
Thick as hell. Thick as hell. Why is she all thick up in there?
Like, it just... And, like, kind of like HD, too.
Yeah.
Halo 4
fully rendered boobies.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, like, when that came up on screen, I was like, oh, shit. Like, this is crazy. I need
let me hide my boner and turn off the TV.
Exactly. But they gave way with that, and then I convinced them to buy me Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Because you could turn off the language and blood.
There you go.
But then they were like, actually, you're old enough. You can just
do it.
Just do it. And then from there, it was like a slippery slope. I just kept getting games, and it was fine. But
I love it.
Pivotal.
Video games are so fun, and they're pivotal.
pivotal.
They're pivotal in our development as young boys, young men, and everything like that. And I feel like games obviously like do kind of have that like gendered dynamic. I feel like it was a little bit of pressure or like societal norms or whatever that little boys played video games, and then now I think
everybody plays.
I think everyone plays video games. Like,
everybody's got a little computer set up.
I love that, and that's
Valorant.
like honestly the whole point of it. And we're now maybe we're finally past some of that like cultural stuff. I do think on the game development side and the studio executive side, like obviously it's still male dominated, and all that.
Computer
stuff.
science in general is like pretty male dominated.
Absolutely. So. But I do think that we did kind of turn a corner in like video games being for everyone, and lots more video games being developed for like, you know, gendered boys or gendered male or gendered females, and also for the LGBT.
Right.
I love in Baldur's Gate that you can have tits and a cock.
Literally. I need to play Baldur's Gate. I haven't played
so
like,
good.
Enough. No, but there's also like a lot of like, you know, like a lot of gamer stuff when I was a kid and you were a kid were just like it's so boy. Like it's just the headset you buy. This is so boy.
Yeah.
I don't know how
it's blue or it's
got like rough edges or it's camo. But now there's like a lot of like cute things you could buy. And like, and not to say
a little
that that's
headset
like
with the little cat ears.
That's like the most basic example, but like there's gear for everyone now.
Yeah.
No matter what you don't, and I hate the boy aesthetic, like the extremely like rugged, like I never was a fan. But you can just get plain headphones that are meant for gaming, and it's incredible. It's awesome.
Well, Devin, we went through our favorite and our least favorite memories. I want to zoom out one final segment where we can kind of just talk about memories in general. What do you, as you've kind of entered the season of your life, you're a young adult, you've got your first job and all that stuff, kind of what are some things that you're going into your life now wanting to make more memories of? Ooh,
more memories. I think making more memories with friends is a priority for me. I feel like, and maybe COVID, definitely COVID has something to do with this, but like, I feel like the energy that I bring to the function is just not there, and I need to bring that energy to the function and make some memories.
Yeah.
And also like, I'm just really bad about planning things. So I usually wait for other people to plan events and I just kind of tag along, and I would like to, I don't know, at some point, like maybe throw a party or something.
Yeah.
Like there was so many things that I was doing physically with people before COVID that I just have so many fond memories of.
Yeah.
And something about being inside.
Fell out of practice of it, yeah.
I fully fell out of practice. Now I just kind of like, just chilling, going with the flow. But not to say I haven't made memories, but
yeah,
I want to make more.
Well, sure. I'll try and encourage you to do that a little bit more.
Bowling league, that was a memory.
Absolutely.
And that's something you couldn't have done during COVID, and
and something that you couldn't have done without 3 other people that wanted to do it.
Exactly. You have to have a team.
Yeah, you have to have a team. And, I really, I thank Lucy for that. Lucy was the one that was like, yeah, do you guys want to do it? And then we did it because Lucy asked us.
Lucy pushed us.
That's awesome. And that initiative is, I think, kind of what you're saying you want to do.
Yeah, I would
take more of.
I would like to have, more ideas.
Yeah.
And throw them out there.
You could do it. We got to get back into D&D.
True, we do.
Devin and I are in a D&D campaign we've done it 3 times? We've seshed.
I feel like it's 4, maybe
we've
5.
We've seshed 3 or 4 times.
There's months in between each session, so I don't even remember what's going on. But every time we play, I have a really good time.
I have a good time when we do it.
And honestly, not knowing what's going on is part of the fun.
Yes.
Just kind of like none of our characters' personalities are coherent at this point because we've all forgotten how they act.
We do know what Sugar Butter's up to.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, Devin, thank you so much for doing this episode and for being on I Can't Remember Shit. I am so glad to have had you on, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. It's feels like I've wanted to do this for a while, but here we are.
And we did it. Awesome. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of I Can't Remember Shit.